Hi teacher, good afternoon. My name is Alejandro Cervantes de la Riva. I am a student of the Universidad Politécnica de Gómez Palacio of Ibio Cuartoa. Okay, in this first part video, teacher, I am going to explain the first three topics of the week activities. Okay, since my partner Berenice Cerda is going to explain the other topics of her. My topics is time expression, passive voice, and to enough. Okay, so let's start. Okay, I am going to start with the topic of the time expression. Okay, so let's start. Okay, here we go, teacher. Okay, the first part of my presentation, I talk about the 10 important facts about the time expression. Okay, here we go. The number one is the time expression that we use talk about time. Okay, the number two, the time expression can be used for past, present, and future tense. The number three, for days, months, or years. In the past, we use the last. In the present, we use the this. And in the future, we use the next. Okay. Number four, for short period of time. For the past, we use the recently. For the present, as we speak. And for the future, the song. Okay. Okay, the number five we will use in for time of day, example, in the morning, in the afternoon. Okay, and number six we will use the on of for day of week, example, on Tuesday, on Sunday, on Saturday, on Thursday, on Monday, whatever. The number seven that will be used for time in a specific example. Okay, for example, at 6 a.m. Okay, the number eight, when we go talk about an experience, we use the time expressions before, never, and not yet. Okay, the number nine, when we go talk about how long we use the time expression, for example, for and since. The number 10 is the ever we use in the question and the never we use in the prayer. Okay. Okay. This part is about the time expression in past, present, and future. Okay. And past time expression is yesterday, last week, last month, last year. In the past, yesterday, when I was born, when we ago. Okay, in present, the time expression is today, this week, this month, this year. At the moment, now, mm, this time, nowadays, these days, right now, as we speak. And the future, the time expression is tomorrow, is, sorry, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, soon, in the near future, the day after, tomorrow, eventually. Okay, the present permanent used for all time, the permanent times. Okay, and so for example, Sofia now live in a small town. O sea, now is the time expression. Okay, and nowadays I live in a big town. Okay, nowadays is the time expression. Okay, this day Tom doesn't have much of social life. This day is the time expression. Okay. Okay, for the present temporary, and we take advantage of the present time to describe event in temporary situations. Okay, for example, at the present, at the moment, living in Paris or in New York. At the present, at the moment is the time expression. Okay, for the time being, I am living in a crown town, but I hope to move soon. Okay, for the time is the time expression. Okay, okay. And the next is listening about a period of time in the past. For example, in Tuesday, he lived in London. Okay, in Tuesday is the time expression. Back then, teachers were badly paid. Back then is the time expression. At, the, at that time, nurses lived in a special accommodation. At that time is the time expression, okay? Okay, talking about a single event in the past. Okay, for example, at one time he lost his door key and had to stay in a hotel. At one time is the time expression. Okay. Okay, the next example is on one occasion she nursed the shield of famous politician. Okay, on one occasion is the time expression. Okay, in the past. Okay, okay. In this part is the part of samples. Okay, the first example is I did my homework the last year. Last year is the time expression. Okay, did because it's past. Okay, I got travel to New York this year. This year is the time expression, and go because it's present. Okay, I wrote a letter for you last night. Last night is the time expression and wrote because it's past. The number four is I worked in the office yesterday. Yesterday is the time expression and worked because it's past. Number five, I talked with my mom yesterday morning. Yesterday morning is my time expression and talked is because it's past. Okay. Number six, I dreamed with my grandmother a year ago. A year ago is my time expression and dreamed because it's past. The number eight is I studied with my best friend a couple of hours ago. Of ago is my time expression. The number nine, I watched the movie 2 months ago. 2 months ago is my time expression. Okay, you told me go to run last Tuesday. Okay, last Tuesday is my time expression. Okay, okay, more examples. Okay, I went side of my mother after I finished work. After is my time expression. Okay, okay, the next example is I worked all day in the school. Afterwards, after that, I went shopping. Afterwards, and after that is my time expression. Okay, the next example is I went to Paris. After a while, I got bored. After a while is my time expression. Okay, Tom worked before he went shopping. Before is my time expression in past. Okay, the next example is she went shopping at 7 p.m. Before that, previously until 10, she had worked all day in the office. Before that, previously until 10, all day is my time expression. Okay, the next is the next example is I worked all the day. I went shopping. Then is my time expression. Okay. The next example is he was prepared to go shopping by the time he had finished work. By the time is my time expression. Okay. Tom worked until 8 p.m. By that time, he was glad for the opportunity to go gym. By 10 time is it is my time expression. Okay, now I release one exercise about the time expression. Okay, the exercise say the complete the sentences with the correct paragraph. Use each time expression only once. Okay, the time expression is already, always, ever, for, forever, just, seldom, sign, so far, twice a week, yet. Okay, here we go. The number one is we have seen that film, so we don't want to see it again. Okay, the answer is yes. The answer is already. The answer is the number one. The answer is already. Okay, the number two is Julia goes to the health club. What is the answer? Yes, it's twice a week on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, the number three is I have heard such nonsense. It is an absolutely crazy idea. The answer is never. Yes, never is my answer of the number three. The number four is don't wake the baby. She is. What is the answer? Yes, it's just gone to sleep. Okay. And the number five, have you, what is the answer? Yes, is ever. Ever is my answer of the number five. Okay, spoken to a famous person. Okay, the number six, they have, what is the answer? Yes, it's forever. Forever is the answer of the number six. Be being interested in a music and often attend concert. The number seven, it is very annoying. Jane is, what is the answer? Yes, it's always is the answer of the no of the number seven. Forgetting where she's put things. Okay, and the number eight, Susan's parents. What is the answer? Yes, the answer is seldom go out in the evenings because they come home from work late. Okay, the number nine, what is the answer? Yes, the answer is so far today, Mr. Smith's secretary has typed three letters for her. The number 10, I have only been taking karate classes. What is the answer? Yes, the answer is for a few weeks, but already I go at it. Okay, the number 11, hungry. I can't believe you haven't done this exercise. The answer is yes, is yet. My answer is yet. And finally, the number 12, have you seen Tom? What is the answer? Yes, it's saying the answer. He's very last week. Okay, teacher, this is all about the time expression, okay? Okay, now I am going to explain about one of my topic, teacher. The topic is passive voice and different tense, okay? Okay, here we go. Okay, what is the passive voice? The passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that they experience an action rather than the person or object that perform the action. In other words, the most important thing or person becomes the subject of the sentence. This is the concept about the passive voice, okay? Examples, I really examples about the passive voice. The example is the passive voice is used frequently. We are interested in the passive voice, not in who uses it. Okay, the road is being repaired. Okay, we are interested in the board, not in the people who are doing the repairs. Okay, and the passive voice, sometimes we use the passive voice because we don't know or do not want to express who performed the action. Okay, examples, for examples, I noticed that a window had been left is the passive voice, okay, open. And the next example is every year, thousands of people are killed on our roads. Are killed is the passive voice. Okay. The next example is all the cookies have been eaten. Have been eaten is the passive voice. Okay. My car has been stolen. Has been stolen is the passive voice. Okay. Okay, the passive voice is often used in informal text, which to the active voice will make you reading credit and easier to read. Okay, and passive and active voice. Okay, and passive voice, a great deal of meaning is conveyed by a few well chosen words. The next example is our planet is warped in a mass of cases. Okay, the next example is wasted material are disposed of in a variety of ways. This is in passive voice. In active voice, the example is a field with chosen words convey a great deal of meaning. The next example is a mass of gases grab around our planet. The next example is the city disposes of waste material in a virgin of way. Okay, this is in active voice. Okay, and the next presentation is say that if we want to say who or what performs the action while using the passive voice. We use the preposition by when we know who performed the action and the interested in him. It is always better to switch to the active passive voice instead. Okay, and passive voice and active voice. Okay, here we go. The passive voice is a hard day night was greeting by the Beatles. In active voice is the Beatles wrote a hard day's night. In passive voice is the movie It was directed by Splitting. In active voice is Splitting directed the movie It. Okay, the passive voice, this house was built by my father. An active voice is my father built this house. Okay. Okay. Forming the passive voice. Sorry. The passive voice in English is composed of two elements. The appropriate form of the verb to be must more past participle. Okay. Affirmative, negative, interrogative, and negative interrogative. For example, in affirmative, the house was built in 1990. Okay. In negative is that house wasn't built in 1990. In interrogative is was the house built in 1990. And negative interrogative is wasn't the house built in 1899. Okay. The next example is these houses were built in 1899 in affirmative. In negative is these houses weren't built in 1899. In interrogative is with these houses built in 1899. And the negative interrogative is weren't these houses built in 1899. Okay. Okay, to clean the passive voice. Okay, the subject more to be, more the verb in past participle, more the rest of sentence. For example, in simple present, the house is to be verb to be, past verb in past participle cleaned, the rest of sentence every day. Present continuous. The house is beginning. This is verb to be in present continuous. Verb in past participle cleaned at the moment is the rest of the sentence. Okay, in the simple past, the house was, because it's to be, verb in past participle cleaned yesterday is the rest of sentence. Past continuous is the house was being, is to be, verb in past participle cleaned, and the rest of sentence last week. Okay, the present perfect is the house to be is has been, and the verb in past participle cleaned signs of left. That is the rest of the sentence. Okay, okay, in past perfect, the house had been, verb in past participle cleaned, the rest of sentence before they arrived. In future is the house, to be is will be, verb in past participle cleaned next week. In future continuous is the house, to be will begin, verb in past participle cleaned, the rest of sentence tomorrow. Okay, present conditional, the house to be is will be, verb in past participle cleaned, and the rest of sentences if they had visitors. Past conditional if the house to be is would have been. Verb in past participle is cleaned of rest of sentence if it had been dirty. Okay, in infinity, and finally in infinity, the house to be is must be. Verb in past participle cleaned and rest of the sentence before we arrive. Okay. Okay, the passive voice with infinitive. The infinitive passive voice is used after modal verbs and other most verbs normally followed by an infinitive. Okay, example, you have to test it on your English grammar. Have to be tested is the passive voice with infinity. Okay, John midnight be promised next year. Midnight be promised is passive voice with infinity. She wants to be invited to the party. Wants to be invited is the passive voice with the infinitive. I expect to be surprised on my birthday. Expect to be surprised is passive voice with infinitive. You may be disappointed. May be disappointed is the passive voice with infinitive. Okay? The next presentation is passive voice with gerunds. Okay, gerunds are used after proposition, after verb, normally followed by a gerunds. Examples, I remember being taught to drive. Remember being taught is passive voice with gerund. Okay, the children are so excited about being taken to the zoo. About being taken is passive voice with gerund. Okay, the children are so excited to be taken to the zoo. Is passive voice with gerund. Yeah. The next example is mod film star hate begin interview. Hate begin interview is passive voice with gerund. Okay. Mod film start hate to be interviewed is passive voice with gerund, right? Pupils like to be pampered. Likes to be pampered is passive voice with gerunds. And finally, pupils like begin pampered. This is the passive voice with gerund, right? Okay, and using to be born. Okay, this is the part important about the passive voice. Okay, to be born is a passive form and is most conformly used in the past tense. However, in some cases, the present or future tense is appropriated. Examples: I was born in 1976. Sorry, was born is the to be born. Okay. Where were you born? Okay, this where you born is to be born. Okay, and an example is around 100 babies are born in the hospital every week. Are born using to be born in the passive voice. Okay, we don't know on exactly which day the baby will be born. Will be born we using to be born. Okay. And finally, I put one imagine about the passive voice. Present simple, present continuous, present simple, past continuous, perfect, present perfect, past perfect, future simple, future be going to, modal, modal perfect. Okay, an active voice in present simple is I do my homework. In present continuous is I am doing my homework. And past simple is I did my homework. And past continuous, I was doing my homework. Present perfect, I have done my homework. And past perfect, I have done my homework. Future simple, I will do my homework. Future be going to, I am going to do my homework. Modal, I must do my homework. Modal perfect, I should have done my homework. In passive voice, present simple is my homework is done. And present continuous is my homework is being done. And past simple is my homework was done. In past continuous is my homework was being done. In present perfect is my homework, sorry, has been done. Okay. Past perfect is my homework had been done. In future simple is my homework will be done. In future be going to is my homework is going to be done. And modal is my homework must be done. And modal perfect is my homework should have been done. Okay, this is all about the topic of the passive voice. Okay. Hi teacher, I am Alejandro and it's another day teacher. I am going to explain my last topic. Okay, my last topic is to and now. Okay, so let's start. Okay, the first part of my presentation, I am going to explain what is to enough. To enough indicate disagree, okay? They modify adjectives, adverbs, and nouns. To means more than what is needed, okay? And now means sufficient, okay? For example, the structure of to is two more adjective, and a noun is the structure is adjective more a noun. Okay. For examples, he is too old to play football with the kids. Okay. Dave is intelligent and noun, adjective and a noun to do great thing. You are not working fast, a noun. Okay. The next example is I don't have a noun time. Okay. He has too many friends. Too many friends. Okay. She has got too much parents. Too much parents. Okay. Okay. What is the difference about the two and now? Okay. Two more than what is needed and now sufficient. Okay. As much as needed. For example, the structure of the two is to more adjective. Uh, for example, this tea is too hot, too hot. Too is the two and hot is the adjective. I can drink it, okay? And two more adverb, okay? He drinks too fast. Too is the two and fast is adverb, is dangerous, okay? Too much, more uncountable noun, okay? This food is very sweet. It has too much sugar. Too much and uncountable sugar, okay? And the last is too many, more uncountable noun. Example, the class has too many students, okay? Too many is the too many and more uncountable noun is students. Okay, some of them don't have decks. And a noun in the part of a noun, adjective more a noun. Okay, for example, he is very tall. He is tall a noun. Tall is the adjective and a noun is a noun. Okay, to reach to top shelf. And another example is another structure, sorry, is the adverb more a noun. Okay, she is a faster runner. Do and I am too. I am fast a noun. Fast is adverb and a noun is a noun. Okay, to run with her. And the next example, the structure is the a noun more noun. Okay, for example, he has a noun money, okay, to buy a new toy, okay. Okay, how to use to? We use the to more adjective or verb. For example, the radio is too loud. Please turn the volume down. The next example is too much, too many. Noun. I don't like the restaurant. There are too many people and there's too much noise. Okay. The next example is too more adjective more for somebody, something. For example, the part of Jean is too thick for me. Okay, the next example is too more adjective more to do something. For example, I am too excited to go out. Okay, the next example they use the too is too more adjective more for somebody, something to do something. The for example is the man was too far away for us to identify him. Okay. And okay, now I going to present and how to use a noun. Okay, for example, a noun, more noun. For example, my mother doesn't have enough money to buy a new house. Okay, the next example is adjective, adverb, more a noun. Mike is tall, a noun to join the national basketball team. The next example is a noun without a noun. Okay, for example, I have some money, but isn't a noun to buy lunch for everyone. Okay, the next example is a noun for somebody or something. For example, this is Jean are the a noun for me. Okay. The next example, the next structure is the a noun to do something. For example, the fish to boat is a noun to feed a zone of people. Okay, the next example is a noun for somebody or something to do something. Okay, for example, the house is big and noun for your parents to live comfortably. Okay. Okay, use of the to and a noun. Okay, and now coming after the adjectives and verbs. The structure is adjective more a noun or adverb more a noun. Okay, examples: he isn't old a noun. Okay, to watch this program. The next example is we are not walking clearly a noun. Okay, and the noun might also produce a nouns. The structure is noun, a noun, sorry, more a noun. Okay. Examples: we have a noun, money, a noun, and the noun is money. Okay. And the next example is I have no go a noun, money. Okay. A noun is a noun, and noun is the money. Okay. To buy this computer. Okay. And use. Okay. I am going to talk about the two. When I use the to come before adjectives and verbs. Okay. For example, two more adjectives or two more adverbs. For example, it is too hot, too weird to coat. Okay. The next example is I was driving too fast. Okay. Before. The next point is to may also come before nouns when it is used with the expression too much and too many. Okay, too much is used before uncountable nouns. Okay, too much, more uncountable nouns. Examples: there is too much salt in the food. Too much salt. Okay, and too many is used before countable noun. Okay, too many, more countable nouns. Example: there are too many students in the classroom. Okay, more examples. The number one is I can't work today. It's too hot. Okay, the next example is I had like to buy two shoes, but they are too expensive. Okay, the number three is we need another later. This is one isn't long and now. Okay, the number four is I can't do this exercise because it is too difficult. Okay, the next example is nobody bought my bike because it is too old. Okay, the next is we had to change rooms because our rooms wasn't big enough. Okay, the next example is John didn't win the race because his car wasn't fast enough. Okay, and the number eight is don't play near the rail line is too dangerous. Okay, before remember. The number nine is Pam couldn't reach the top shelves because she wasn't tall enough. Okay, tall enough. And the number 10 is I am sorry, but your work isn't good enough. Okay. Okay, teacher, this is all of me. Okay, this is all of me about the all my topics. And see you later, teacher. Bye.
Good morning. My name is Berenice, and today I am going to explain uh, three topics as my partner Alex will explain the rest. Okay. Much, many, countable, and uncountable. The words much and many mean a lot of. If a noun is in singular, we use much. For example, much money. If a noun is in plural, we use many. For example, many friends. Use of much, many. Okay. In everyday English, we normally use much and many. Only in questions and negative clause. For example, how much money have you got? Carla does not have many friends. In a positive clause with so as or to, we also use much and many. For example, Carla has so many friends. She has as many friends as Zoe. One has too much money. In another positive clause, however, we prefer expressions like a lot of, lots of. For example, Carla has a lot of friends. Juan has a lot of. Juan has a lot of. Carla has a lot of friends. Much is used with uncountable nouns. It is mainly used in negative and interrogative clause. For example, how much money have you got? We didn't spend much money. There isn't much data to download. Uh, to much word donor the miller. Many is used with countable nouns. It is mainly used in question, affirmative sentence, and negation. Example, I don't have many friends. How many children do you have? Are there many for people in France? In France, yes. Countable nouns. Okay. Countable nouns can be counted. For example, apple, two apples, three apples. Another. Have a singular and a plural form. In plural, these nouns can be used with a number. That's why they are called countable nouns. Uncountable nouns cannot be counted. Example, air, rain, water. Another can only be used in singular. This noun cannot be used with a number. That we they are called uncountable nouns. Okay. Another examples countable and uncountable nouns. For example, number one, how much trash can fit in the garbage bin? How much dirt was dug Oh, number one, the how many? How many eggs did the wind lay? How many green pencils did you see? How many fingers did you have? Okay, relative clause. Relative clause are those that act as subordinate to a main clause, adding more information about a thing or person that had already been mentioned before. Okay, relative clause give you information about the person or thing mentioned. Defining relative clause give you essential information. Information that tells use how or what we are talking about. For example, the woman who lives next door works in a bank. These are the flights that have been cancelled. Okay, we usually use a relative clause. Uh, no, relative pronouns or adverb to start a defining relative clause. How, which, that, when, where, or was. Relative pronouns, okay? Use an example. Number one, how. Use a subject or object pronoun for people. Example, I told you about the woman who lives next door. Okay. Number two, wish. Use subject or object pronoun for animals and things. Example, do you see the cat which is linked on the roof? Number three, wish, referring to a whole sentence. Example, he couldn't read which surprised me. Number four, was, use possession for people, animals, and things. For example, did you know the boy was mother is a nurse? Number five, use object pronoun for people, especially in non-defining relative clause. In defining relative clause, we colloquial is preferred how. For example, I was invited by the professor when I meet at the conference. Number six, that. Use a subject or object pronoun for people, animals, and things in defining relative clause. How or which are as possible. For example, I don't like the table that stands in the kitchen. Okay, subject pronoun or object pronoun. Subject and object pronoun cannot be distinguished by their form, how, which, that are used for subject and object pronouns. If the relative pronouns is followed by a verb, the relative pronouns is a subject pronouns. Subject pronouns must always be used. Example, the apple which is lying on the table. If the relative pronoun is not followed by a verb, but by a noun or pronoun, the relative pronoun is an object pronoun. Object pronoun, yes, can be dropped in indefinite relative clause, which are then called contact clause. Okay. Relative adverbs. Okay. A relative adverb can be used instead of a relative pronoun plus a pronoun plus preposition. Yeah. This often makes the sentence easier to understand. Yeah, to understand. For example, relative adverbs when, meaning, in, on, which use refers to a time expression. Example, the day when we meet him. Where, in, ate, which refers to a place, the place where we meet him. Why, for which refers to a reason, the reason why we meet him. Okay. A relative clause definition is called identity relative clause or restrictive relative clause. Give detailed information defining a general term or expression. Defining relative clause are not found in commas. Okay, imagine Tom is in a room with 5 girls. One girl is talking to Tom and you ask somebody whether he knows this girl. The relative clause defines which of the 5 girls you mean. Do you know the girl who is talking to Tom? Defining relative clause are often used in definition. A seaman is someone who works on a ship. Object pronoun is definitive. Relative clause can be dropped. Sentence with a relative clause without the relative pronouns are called contact clause. The boy who we meet yesterday is very nice. Okay. Comparatives. Okay. Comparative adjectives. We can comparative nouns using adjectives. One way to do this is with an adjectives comparative forms. Look at some more examples of comparative adjectives. Number 1 is hot. Yesterday was hot, but yesterday is hotter. Number 2, busy. I am busy, but Janet is busier. Number 3, delicious. Cake is delicious, but I think ice cream is more delicious. As you can see, there are different kinds of comparative adjectives. Number 1, adjectives with one syllable take 88 in their comparative forms. Hot is hotter, cold is colder, big is bigger, warm warmer, old older, fast faster. Adjectives ending in I. If an adjective ends with the letter I, we usually change the I to I or E for its comparative forms. Number 1, easy, easier. Number 2, busy, busier. Number 3, pretty, prettier. Number 4, happy, happier. Okay. Adjectives with two or more syllables in and adjectives has two or more syllables. We don't not change the adjectives. Instead, the comparative form is made with the adjectives and the word more. For example, crowded, more crowded, interesting, more excited, boring, more boring. Exceptions for some adjectives, but ing or more can be used to make the comparative form, but whys are okay. Friendly, more friendly, or friendlier. Simple, more simple, or simple. Quit, more quit, or quitter. Clear, more clear, or clear. Some adjectives have irregular comparative forms. For example, good is better, bad is worse, far is farther or further. Than. We can use than after comparatives. For example, my brother is older than me. Do you think sushi is more delicious than pizza? The weather today is better than yesterday's. After that, we can use nouns like pizza or object pronoun like me. Sometimes after than English speakers sign nouns or pronouns with auxiliaries like I am. For example, you are better than me, I am. A steak is more expensive than spaghetti, spaghetti is. I think I am smarter than you, you are. Superlative adjectives. Okay, we use the superlative form of an adjective to comparative three or more things. For example, he is the best student in the class. The biggest country in the world is China. February is the shortest month of the year. The rules for making superlative adjectives are very similar to comparative adjectives. Instead of ing, use the ist, and for more, use the most. Example of comparative: interesting, more interesting, crowded, more crowded, lazy, lazier, warm, warmer, good, better. For example, salad is healer than French fries. Soccer is more popular than golf. Nature is more beautiful than girl. Prison is worse than a parking ticket. Comparative adjectives. Used to compare two things. For example, the elephant is bigger than the mouse. One syllable form is plus here than. Two syllables ending in I, change I to I add ing, form more ing than. Two or more syllables is more than. For example, bigger than, smaller than, nicer than, taller than, shorter than, longer than. In two syllables, easier than, pussier than, prettier than, smaller than, friendlier than. Two or more syllables, more beautiful than, more intelligent than, more difficult than, more complex than, another. Okay? Bueno. This is it. It's been understood. See you later. Okay, this is it. I hope it is been understood. See you later.